Notre Dame won the toss, and they want the football. Brian Kelly electing to take the ball and not defer, as you might expect. So Jake Moody to boot it away. Jafar Armstrong, the speedy running back who returns healthy tonight, is the deep man for the Irish. Moody's boot is returnable from the 6. Armstrong slips a tackle and muscles across the 20, and boy, are they glad to have Armstrong back on the case. He had abdominal surgery, and he'll join the man you mentioned, Tony Jones, in the backfield.
Yeah, Tony Jones has been great the last 3 weeks, but it's a great scene to be able to see Armstrong in the lineup for, I know, a lot of Notre Dame fans, because he's not only a great running back, but they can use him as a receiver. Here comes Ian Book.
14-2 as the starter. Played just 1 snap in last year's game. Handed off for a touchdown run on the win in South Bend.
Ah, no problem.
Now he is the man. And it's Jones bustling forward for a nice first down gain of 5 yards as we check the Chick-fil-A impact players.
Well, not only is Tony Jones in that running game, but I think on the outside one-on-one, Claypool, 83, commit the big tight end is a tough matchup when he gets his one-on-one opportunities. Kwity Paye will lead that pass rush, and the leader in the middle, McGrone, who's really come on the last 4 weeks.
Pressure, and a second down throw is way over the head of his top target, Chase Claypool. Third down coming up.
And Michigan, you know, they're not hiding the fact that they're going to bring pressure. Their whole goal is to get to the quarterback before you can beat them in man-to-man pressure. That's just Don Brown's philosophy. He doesn't always blitz, but he does leave his corners and sometimes his safeties on islands with the hope of getting the pressure home to Ian Book before, as I said, they can make the Michigan defense pay for that kind of coverage.
18 sacks the last 3 games for Michigan. They have been coming after quarterbacks very well, and Book gets it out quickly. It's a throw on the sidelines, and it's going to be caught by Claypool. Thought there's no way he was going to come down over Ambry Thomas, but they say he got the foot down.
Yeah, there's the size advantage. Again, it's 6'5", but does he get that right foot down? He does. Wow. That is big time. Outstanding catch. Look at the position of the football where he puts it. But the impressive thing in these conditions is the ball location by the quarterback, Claypool's concentration by being able to hold on to that ball and still get his right toe down.
Big 6'5" Californian had a quiet game against USC. Caught just 3 passes, but he is a tough guy to stop.
And they're going to take another peek at it just to confirm the look. We showed you that right foot. Ball's possessed, the right toe goes down. He completes the catch. That is big time play here early in the game for Notre Dame's offense.
Absolutely. That's the difference between a punt and a fresh set of downs on a rainy night. That is as good as it gets.
Yeah, that dry field, dry conditions. That's great. Boy, Claypool's really come on to be the guy, a hoops player, kind of raw, but has really worked on his skills, his route running, and his just overall feel. And I think this offense has really started to create an identity the last couple weeks. And he's a big part of that, along with Cole Kmet at tight end.
Almost double the targets of any other Notre Dame receiver. John O'Neill's mic malfunctioning in the rain, but the call stands. He's a problem. Drops early in his career were a problem. Hadn't have a single drop this year.
Yeah, he was kind of on the back burner. Miles Boykin was the guy that played back into the boundary with the length. Boykin moves on to the NFL, and now Claypool becomes that guy, and I think he plays hungry. I've really liked his look from the opening night against Louisville. He just seems to get better and better. That call was actually confirmed, so they saw what we saw.
Jones on the toss to the boundary. It was clogged there. Josh Metellus bumps him out of bounds near the line of scrimmage.
Outstanding play on the edge there by Dana, the defensive end. They'll rotate a lot of bodies up front to try to stay fresh. And Dana's a transfer from Central Michigan, 6'2", about 260 pounds. Notre Dame tried to gain that edge back into the boundary, but you saw his strength there by being able to hold on to the edge and push him back to the inside.
1 yard loss, 2nd and 11. It's Jones again running left. and running right into traffic. He got 2 yards before Cameron McGrone, who's played extremely well for the Wolverines, combined with Carlo Kemp.
Yeah, I talked about this Notre Dame offense the last few weeks creating an identity. A big part of that, with Armstrong out, has been Tony Jones. Against Virginia, had 131 yards. Bowling Green over 100 yards. USC 176 yards. So offensive line and Tony Jones have really worked well together to give them balance with Book in the passing game.
Tight end Komet slot right, Claypool to the left, running a crossing route. They throw it to him, but the ball immediately, contact made right when the ball got there by Daxton Hill. It's 4th down.
Again, much like Penn State and other teams have done, on 3rd down, you try to go with a crossing route because you're assuming it's going to be a lot of man-to-man. But watch what Michigan does. Instead of playing man-to-man, they're in zone. They're looking up those crossing routes with a lot of different bodies, and Daxton Hill, the freshman, actually gets up and makes the nice play to knock the ball loose. But instead of man, Don Brown mixes in zone on that 3rd down. A good time to do it.
So 1 first down for the Irish, and now a punt. Jay Bramblett, the freshman, has had a solid season. Donovan Peoples-Jones, the dangerous receiver and returner, standing at his 16. Special teams obviously in sharp focus tonight with these tough conditions. Just catching the snap can be a challenge. And Bramblett is rushed and knocked down, and a flag comes in. So they came after him. If it's a 15-yard penalty, it'll be an automatic first down. That was McGrone getting a little over-aggressive.
Personal foul, roughing the kicker.
Oh, boy.
Defense number 44. 15 yards from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
So McGrone with the mistake, and the Irish keep the football.
Yeah, he's right in the middle. He's going to kind of delay. The blockers are occupied, and he just cannot slow down and prevent himself from running into the punter. You know, on that replay, and of course it's super slow-mo, you can make an argument it was just more of a running into the punter as opposed to the personal foul.
When he goes down that hard, though,
in real time,
the 15-yarder.
Real time, and of course punters are trained to do that.
Ball moved to the Wolverines 40 now. First down for the Irish. So a great catch by Claypool on 3rd down, and that personal foul keeps this opening drive alive. Jones is still in the backfield. And a fumble exchange. Book has to fall on it. They'll lose about 4.
Chris, I think that actually hit the tight end Komet in motion. Watch him working. Just a miscommunication. The big fella, boom, hits him right in the hip as he's in motion. Very fortunate for Notre Dame that Ian Book had his eyes, and the ball just happened to bounce his way instead of towards the Michigan defense. Notre Dame catches a break.
It actually kicked back to him.
Yeah.
And a whistle and a false start before the snap.
Tight end. Number 84. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
First road game, as we said, since late September. Tough weather conditions. Crowd is raucous. You could expect a few early misfires from the offense.
And that'll drive Chip Long, the offensive coordinator, crazy. Misfire on the snap, hits the tight end, and then the tight end Komet, who's an outstanding player, moves, pushing him back even further.
2nd and 19. Book looking to throw near side. Is screen to Jones, who's tracked down very nicely by McGrone, who's factoring in prominently here.
Yeah, watch this Michigan defense run. I mean, McGrone will lead the way, 44. You talk about pursuit. Watch 44. Look at the speed that he has. Don Brown gets there to make the play. Don Brown says, you know, Devin Bush can play pretty good. He can run. He says McGrone is starting to show me some instincts and some speed that reminds me of Devin Bush. Now, keep in mind, he's a very young player, but it tells you about his potential.
3rd down, they need 15. 5 receiver look. Wolverines rush 4, and Book has time, but no targets, and finally the long throw over the head of Braden Lindsey, who was covered by Hill, and it's 4th down.
Yeah, just rushing 4. Notre Dame playing man-free, used McGrone that time as a spy to prevent the quarterback from taking off. Good coverage downfield, nowhere for Book to go. He just threw it away.
So the Irish with some misfirings after they were given a fresh set of downs with the personal foul. And now Bramblett is back out there trying to pin the Wolverines deep. Peoples-Jones at his 10. using the towel to the last possible second. Wolverines get nowhere near the punter this time. It's a short punt. Peoples-Jones lets it bounce and roll dead finally at the 7-yard line. So that's where Shea Patterson can check out the always entertaining coach's ISO and plenty of stats. Tough spot for Shea Patterson and the Wolverines' first possession of the night. Backed up at the 7 on this windy, chilly, rainy night.
Coming off his best game of the year and the way he performed and the offense performed in the second half over at Happy Valley.
It's a first down handoff inside to Hassan Haskins. Yeah, he won the admiration of his teammates. Jim Harbaugh called it heroic. Of course, he's from Toledo, Shreveport, Ole Miss, and second season here at Michigan.
The fact they were down 21-0 in that setting, and then 21-7 at half, and they just kept fighting back. It was impressive, and he was the leader. But I thought the entire offense played really well in that second half. And even though they lost the game, they're not into moral victories at Michigan. Still, some momentum that they can use coming into tonight.
Haskins has the football, patiently picks his way around the left side and is knocked down after a 3-yard gain by Gilman. It'll set up 3rd and 3.
Now they outgained Penn State in that second half, 230-80. And I think the message from Josh Gaddis and Jim Harbaugh is, guys, let's start the way we finished last week.
Really a problem stringing together 2 halves of football for this team.
All year.
Haskins is the back. A couple of tight ends on 3rd and 4. Patterson against the blitz, gets it across the middle, tried to find Sean McCune, the veteran tight end who's back in the lineup after missing some times with injuries. It's 4th down.
And Notre Dame brings Gilman on a late blitz. You see him 11 coming right up the middle. He's picked up. Patterson has time, just an errant throw. Down low, he really didn't give the big tight end much of a chance at all there on that 3rd down. So a 3 and out, and now they got to punt deep in their own territory here. And
the senior Will Hart for Michigan will be tasked with, first of all, handling the snap and getting it away. Chris Fink is the returner, and it's blocked. The Irish block it, the ball spinning around. A flag is down. There's still a scrum. No idea why Notre Dame player tried to touch the ball there.
Yeah. Yeah, Notre Dame player jumped on it, and it's a free ball.
Block was made by Bo Bauer. A flag came down before the ball was touched. Before that was that scrum.
Like Jonathan Jones, 45, may have tried to jump on the ball.
Look what happened. The snap was fielded cleanly.
Yeah, it was high, but he did a good job of handling it. But I think that just that much of a hesitation. He goes up. Now he's out of rhythm. Gives Notre Dame enough time to be able to get in there and block it.
It was Bauer who made the block.
Yeah.
But then the flag came out in the sequence as
no
the ball
foul for roughing the kicker.
down
the
the
ball
field.
was tipped.
Oh, yeah.
During the kick, holding on the return team. That penalty would be declined. The ball was touched by the receiving team and recovered by the kickers. First down.
So Michigan football.
That's right. Watch the Notre Dame player 45 who looks like he thinks he has a chance is Jonathan Jones. Right here, he's thinking, I'm just going to jump on it. It's a wet night, Jonathan. That's a tough thing to do. Now it's a free ball. It's a free ball, and it's a free-for-all and a scrum at the bottom. Who knows how many times that ball potentially exchanged hands. But Michigan ends up gaining positive yards out of the whole thing.
In the heat of the moment, looks like he didn't maybe know the rule. He obviously, if you partially block the punt, get away from it.
Absolutely.
So we've had some funky stuff with the punt teams as Michigan's turn to retain possession. Move the ball comfortably out to the 38-yard line. Zach Charbonnet is the back. Patterson with a long throw off the hands of Ronnie Bell. Talked about the loss at Penn State. All the teammates rallying around Bell, who, of course, made that drop in the end zone on the 4th down play and was seen with tears in his face after the game. Just a really tough-minded guy.
Absolutely. Actually was one of the heroes of the game up to that point. Had really helped the offense turn things around with 5 catches, 82 yards. Yards after the catch kind of guy. Early just watching this game with the weather, keep an eye on Shea Patterson and his grip on the football. Doesn't have big hands, and in these conditions, last week he played with a glove. When the weather gets cold, he likes to go with a glove. You can see tonight, now that it's wet, it's cold, but he doesn't have the glove because of trying to take care of the ball better.
Yeah, Tom Brady, of course, popularized the glove, the ex-Michigan man. Why do you have to take it off on a rainy night? It's just
so slick. You know, Tom Brady, it doesn't seem to affect him no matter what he does, whether it's warm, cold, wet, hot, it doesn't matter. He's able to handle it. But with, I think in this case with Shea Patterson, because he has such a small hand, he's trying his best to just get a good grip on the football. And last week, he, of course, had it. And just watching the first couple passes, he doesn't seem to have a good grip and throwing the ball yet with authority. But he'll adjust hopefully as the game goes on.
3rd and 7, Irish rush 5, ball out, downfield shot, double coverage on Nico Collins, and a flag, a couple of them.
Yeah, one of the refs on the sideline, he actually lost his flag. He was trying to throw it. Gilman prevented Nico Collins from getting to the football.
Pass interference. Defense number 11. 15 yards from the previous spot. First down.
And Notre Dame had him bracketed, doubled with Gilman over the top. Gilman obviously interferes there with Nico Collins, who's trying to go up for the football. He had gotten behind the coverage of Dante Vaughn, the corner.
Gilman, the top tackler in this team, a terrific blitzer, run stopper, perhaps less comfortable in coverage. And the ball is moved into Notre Dame territory at the 49, and Charbonnet tries to get the corner, slips free, and will pick up about 8 on first down.
Nice block by the center, Ruiz, who's going to pull right out of here. He's going to lead around. And Charbonnet, who had a good game himself last week, does a nice job of feeling that. When he gets his shoulders square, he's a handful for a true freshman. Weighs 220 pounds. And they're going to count on him tonight in these conditions. They've really got to be able to win that line of scrimmage and be able to run the ball tonight with Charbonnet.
Rare that a true freshman tailback plays a prominent role at Michigan. And Charbonnet will carry for first down yardage inside the 39.
I think
Deji with the stop.
I'm sorry, Chris. I really feel that Charbonnet not only gaining experience as a freshman, but I think the offensive line, even though 4 of them are veterans, I just didn't think that they were playing great football early in the year, whether it was pass protection or run blocking. And the last 2 or 3 weeks, Jim Harbaugh has even talked about this, they do seem to be gelling and playing with more confidence. And I think Charbonnet's been the benefactor.
Charbonnet's got it again, and he's got a crease, heading for the corner, and forced out inside the 5. Jalen Elliott saved a touchdown, but the Wolverines are threatening.
Well, this time they're going to pull Ruiz, and Owenu, the center and the right guard, are both going to lead him around. Good action by Patterson after with a little bit of a pump fake that took one of the linebackers with him, but that is great blocking by the interior of that Michigan line.
On first and goal, Charbonnet stutter steps and falls to the 2. This offensive line really largely nullified Penn State's excellent pass rush. As you said, they began to push him around a bit in the second half.
Yeah, I really thought it was a combination of getting the ball out quick on the perimeter to Ronnie Bell, who had blockers outside, combined with Charbonnet's tough physical running between the tackles and in the trenches. That combination seemed to get them into a rhythm. This is a big rhythmic offense with the quarterback, Shea Patterson, leading the way. And when they get into that rhythm, they are tough to slow down.
Charbonnet the back 3, Michigan tight ends in there. Fumbled exchange, Patterson avoids the turnover, has to fall on it back at the 4.
Well, Notre Dame had the ball bounce in their favor earlier after that snap hit the tight end. Look at this one, it just sits there. Very fortunate for Shea Patterson. That ball could have gone anywhere, could have been kicked, could have gone right to Notre Dame. Instead, it just dies right there. And fortunately for Michigan, he's able to just jump on top of it.
He had more time than he thought. He made the prudent decision to just take a knee. Now it's 3rd and goal back at the 4. Charbonnet met in the hole and stopped right there. Strong play by the middle linebacker, Drew Weitz.
Man, Drew White has come on. All their linebackers this year are first-year starters, and watch him come in and be able to fill this hole here, do a good job of waiting patiently, and then it's just one-on-one. It's like a tackling drill on a Tuesday practice. Running back against linebacker, who's going to win? And that time the linebacker, Drew White, steps up and makes a great play.
So the mental mistake on the punt, and then the pass interference helps the drive. And now Michigan will try to take the lead in a 21-yard field goal from Jake Moody. Basically an extra point, but nothing automatic in a night like this.
Absolutely.
Big thing for a rivalry.
Absolutely.
Moody boots it. It's short. Armstrong takes it at the goal line. And he'll be wrestled down across the 21 as we check in with Kevin Nagandi in the studio for an update. And no surprise there. So Ian Book back at it, 2 for 5, 22 yards in the first possession. Already we've had 3 total fumbles in this wet night. Jones straight ahead for about 3.
That is going to be a great battle. Anytime Notre Dame and Michigan play, you always want to watch the trenches. You always want to see who has the upper hand. And Notre Dame, we talked about in that first half, but they've got an offensive line that has really come together at the midpoint in this season. But give Michigan and their defensive line a lot of credit. So far, they have won that battle up front.
2nd and 7. Jones left side, lowers the shoulder. He's averaging 7 yards a carry, about 4 yards after contact. You mentioned in the open how tough he has been the last few games.
Yeah, he's not a back that's necessarily going to take it 60 yards, 80 yards. That's what Armstrong's back there for. But Tony Jones is a physical back. You can see his body right there, just lowering its shoulder into that corner. But the corner does a nice job that time. Vincent Gray putting him into a 3rd down and probably a passing situation here. See if Michigan brings pressure. Looks like they're backing out.
And on 3rd and 5, it's a crossing route. Catch made, and right at the marker, Glasgow with the stop there. And see where they spot the ball.
And they're going to have that 1st down. And Chris, again, Notre Dame going back to the crossing route, expecting and anticipating man-to-man. But for the 2nd time on a 3rd down, we see Don Brown breaking tendency, sitting back in more of a zone and forcing Book to read coverage. But that time they come up with a 1st down.
Armstrong doesn't get a chance to flash that speed. Couldn't get the corner, chased down by Hawkins and Khalid Hudson.
Well, these guys are coming downhill and playing with an attitude. Watch the linebacker play here, and then you'll see the safety immediately fill Brad Dawkins 20 on the outside. There's Hudson doing a good job, and then 20 right there, taking Armstrong out. Remember, Armstrong's the speedster. He's back, he's healthy, but with that speed, he could not get to the outside. Just really good pursuit by the Wolverines.
It's tough, Kirk, to miss 5 games and then return to a game of this kind of tempo in these conditions. Around the edge is Braden Lenzy, the speedster, who made an explosive run against USC on a similar play, but ran out of room there.
I mean, right now, they don't feel threatened downfield, so they're just attacking the line of scrimmage. Linebackers, safeties. You know, Notre Dame has their big tight ends out there, but they're just outnumbered. There's 4 or 5 different Michigan defenders that time, as Notre Dame tried to run back into the boundary where there's just not that much room, especially with a defense flying around the way Michigan is.
Not been able to target Cole Kmet, the tight end. See who the target is on 3rd and 9. Book flushed, has to escape. Tries to scramble last minute, flips the ball. It was very near the line of scrimmage, and it's incomplete. Trying to come back for the football was Claypool. It was very close to the line, if not over it, and it's 4th down.
Yeah, and it looks like Michigan, once they've heard all week they've got to contain Book. Once Book looks like he's going to take off, Michigan attacks Book, but they forget about covering Claypool downfield. Gray came off of him because he thought that the quarterback was taking off to run. So good vision downfield. Book looked like maybe right as he released the ball, he might have gotten hit. Not enough strength to get the ball to Claypool.
Bramble shanks the punt. It's going to be an adventure tonight, folks. And now coming up, Peoples-Jones scooped it up and dove for a couple of yards over after the 28-yard punt. And here's a first down run. The head is Haskins. No relief in sight, Kirk, from Mother Nature. This is the radar. That yellow circle around Ann Arbor, which is in the center of the red, is 20 miles away. And the heavy stuff up to the southwest is coming this direction.
Oh, good. It's supposed to last, I think, most of the game.
As if it wasn't bad enough already for these quarterbacks. And Maria Taylor down there somewhere. Second and short. It's Haskins running sideways and prevented from making a cut. Wrestled down by Jacob Lacey, the nose guard.
But Jacob Lacey that time getting a really good push in the middle of that Michigan offensive line. You know, Haskins comes in a completely different style of back from Charbonnet. Guy who's a linebacker and a running back. With a lack of depth at running back, has moved and committed full time to playing that running back spot. He's done a pretty good job of helping out with Charbonnet.
Lacey, a freshman, plenty of depth in that Notre Dame defensive line, and they hit Haskins behind the line of scrimmage, but the converted linebacker muscles forward, first down.
Yeah, that was great second, third effort there by 25 Haskins. Looked like Notre Dame may have had penetration and able to stop him short by about a yard or two, but just kept those legs pumping and eventually gets across the first down line. This is where you see Shea Patterson get the ball outside. They've been running a lot in the middle. You got to get the ball out on the perimeter a little bit.
They touch the middle, and Haskins, who slips a tackle, and Gilman finally wrestles him down at the 20. A quick hitter and an explosive run.
Yep, Runyon, the left tackle, Owenu, the right guard. Watch how they're able to get up to the second level and be able to pick up these linebackers, both of them right there. Then the stiff arm against the end, Kareem. And next thing you know, he's in the second level with plenty of room to run. That shows you the strength there with that big stiff arm.
25-yard gain. Michigan threatening to add to this lead. Final 20 seconds of the first quarter. Haskins again running wide, cuts it up, and plows forward for about 4 before Heinrich stopped him. Be the last play of this first quarter.
Yeah, right. First couple passes, Shea Patterson didn't look the greatest as far as feeling confident holding on to that football. 16 plays in that first quarter for Michigan, 14 runs.
2nd and 7. Haskins picks his way into the secondary and bangs for first down yardage down to the 12.
You know, these Notre Dame linebackers have played well all year. I mean, you look at any of their bigger games, right now they're getting caught up in traffic. And you're seeing a combination of some good running by the backs, good vision, and those offensive linemen doing a heck of a job of being able to work off their double teams and climb up to that second level and eliminate those backers.
Michigan offensive linemen, Kirk, feeling good about themselves. Already over 100 yards rushing tonight. Play caller Josh Gaddis, who's here in that role, coming from Alabama. Bell in motions. Haskins fake it to him. Patterson tries to get the edge. Shows some quickness. Be out of bounds near the 6, forced out by Pride.
You know, that's an area that Josh Gaddis is hoping to see Shea Patterson get more and more consistent. That zone read game, he's had some inconsistencies on that read. That's a big part of what Josh Gaddis is trying to bring here. Not just the zone read, but obviously the run pass option that goes hand in hand with that. And that time makes a good read on Okwara, who commits down to the running back, so he pulls it and picks up some positive yards around the edge.
Charbonnet cuts back and scores. Michigan stretches the lead. Old school drive, Kirk, at a night like this. They ignore the forward pass and just march it on the ground.
Right, that is old school. Right down the field in these conditions. Offensive line and the running backs combination of Haskins and Charbonnet. Those linemen are pulling around and picking up those backers, and these backs keep having room to run.
High snap brought down nicely by Hart, and Moody makes it 10-0.
Yeah, watch.
Parents were their age. Freedom's Clearwater Revival. I want to know if you ever seen the rain. Seen plenty of it tonight. Fink makes the fair catch, and now down by 10. Book and the Irish offense will go back to work. 50th season of Monday Night Football continues as the struggling Dolphins tackle the Pittsburgh Steelers. Coverage begins Monday Night Countdown at 6 p.m. It's Dolphins Steelers at 8 p.m. on ESPN. Mike Black, our spotter here, will go help Joe Tess in the booth at the Heinz Field showdown.
Well, something's got to change for Notre Dame. They've been running the football. Michigan is not respecting their passing game downfield, and why should they in these conditions and at this point? So they're coming downhill with blitzes and trying to take away the running game.
Jones with a first down run. Stopped after a yard gain by Glasgow.
I'm talking about as soon as that ball is snapped in the shotgun, McGrone is coming downhill to be able to take away those offensive linemen from potentially getting up to him. Watch the ball snap. Here comes 44. Here comes the safety. There's nowhere to go. It's very tough when linebackers aren't respecting anything on the perimeter or downfield.
Book back to throw, flush, and has to just throw it away. Chris Fink was in the area. Glasgow came on the blitz. Third down coming up.
Yeah, Don Brown is not holding back. He brings both Glasgow and Hudson from the edges, and both of them, Glasgow gets there, and Hudson was on his way. Man-to-man on the back end. What does Don Brown say? We're going to get to your quarterback before you can beat our man-to-man coverage downfield. That time Glasgow gets home.
Last 3 seasons, Michigan's had a top 7 defense and pass efficiency. It slipped way down this year to 34th coming in. But they are attacking tonight. Book 3 of 8. Needs 8. Ball deflected at the line. Batted down by the 6'6" sophomore Aiden Hutchinson. Another punt for the Irish.
This kid's getting better every single week. Young player, great instincts, knows that he can't get to Book, but uses his length. The kid's 6'6" and athletic. Goes up, times it perfectly, knocks that ball down. And right now, man, Notre Dame, 37 yards of total offense.
It's on 18 plays, so just about 2 yards of play. And Bramblett back to punt again. And the rain getting even heavier. Bramblett gets away a pretty good boot given the conditions. It'll bounce in front of Peoples Jones, who for some reason is going to take the risk and field it on one hop. Can he get the corner? He's going to work hard and scooted along the sidelines. They'll spot him out near the 40. I thought it was risky to field it, but he made something of it, Kirk.
Yeah.
Mood. Michigan really playing the well, running the football well, up 10 as they take over at their own 40. No completed passes yet for Patterson, but Haskins has been the weapon, and he's in the secondary, hurdling tacklers and knocked down at the Notre Dame 40.
Michigan blitzing and trying to get into that backfield, but Notre Dame's offensive line picking him up. Late blitz here, picked up. There's Ruiz again picking up a linebacker, and Haskins running downhill into that second level. Tries to go high. He went up and over Gilman there.
20-yard gain. He's got it again and wrestled down. I think Maria Taylor Kirk is thinking that NBA studio, that would feel pretty good right now, Maria.
Never that, Chris. Hard always with college football, but I got to tell you, I didn't think it was possible. The rain has picked up in here, and it's affecting things on the Notre Dame sideline. Ian Book came out and said his phone was dead. He couldn't call up to the press box. They had to add another one. They've been bringing out dry towels so coaches can write on erase boards. I mean, everything has been affected, and I swear the wind is swirling. It's not really blowing from one side or the other. It's just everywhere right now.
You're hanging in there. I know you're gamer football, but doing a great job in the NBA studio as well.
She's a gamer.
Michigan After 17 consecutive runs, Patterson is looking to throw the football, but no, it'll be an 18th straight run on the scramble for a nice game.
Still running the ball, and that's Shea Patterson, what he can bring to the table instead of giving up on it. Gives him a better chance here now on 3rd down. Boy, it's very interested coming in to see how Notre Dame's offensive line that we talked about had a very good second half last week against Penn State would match up against a Notre Dame front seven that I think has been playing incredibly well. And even though there's some new faces at the second level at the linebackers, had a heck of a year, but right now being handled by Michigan.
True Wilson in the backfield as Patterson looks to throw again on 3rd down. Now scrambling, fires on the run, and the catch is made by Sainstrell. And the freshman has a 1st down.
Okwara, who's a great pass rusher, puts pressure on him from his left, or to our right, his left, right there, but he can't get to him. Runyon does a good job of holding him away, and then there's what Shea Patterson brings to the table, the creativity, improvising, eyes downfield, and eventually finds his man for that first for him.
Patterson's first completion of the night was for 13 on 3rd and 7. Samer still just his 2nd catch of the season. It's a 2-back look with Eubanks, the tight end, back there as a blocker for Charbonnet, but Patterson led by the tight end around the edge and knocked out short of the goal line.
We talked about being more consistent and being able to read the defensive end. Stay on that ride. He commits to the running back, pull it to the outside, and then you got some great blocks downfield. Donovan Peoples-Jones, also the back helping him out there. Tight end out there, Eubanks tries to get to that corner.
Aggressive pylon cam shows where he got knocked out. That was an interesting look there. Eubanks in the backfield, just escorting Patterson around left end.
Nice to have a 6'5", 256-pound escort.
Michigan threatening to bust open this game on a stormy night. On 1st and goal. Charbonnet banged it at the line of scrimmage, falls to the 1. White stopped him, but Michigan banging on the door again.
Yeah, these two are getting very familiar with one another. 40 in the middle. Nobody's able to get up to him, and comes down to Drew White against Charbonnet. The more I watch Charbonnet, I talked about who he reminds me of. Look at the progressive pylon cam as he extends and comes up just a little bit short with the knee down. Reminds me of Butch Wolfel, old school Michigan back wearing that 24.
Good call. Overhead view is Charbonnet, bangs forward, touchdown Michigan, dominating the Irish here. One clutch 3rd down completion, the rest on the ground. 60 yards in 7 plays. And the Wolverines guaranteed us they still had plenty to play for and plenty of fight left despite that heartbreaking loss in Happy Valley. And they are making good on that tonight. Total dominance. Yardage 175 to 37. Yeah, Michigan went on to score in that drive and has built steady momentum. Now Armstrong takes the short kickoff just out to the 23-yard line. The Bear in his warm, dry den with our Affleck trivia question tonight.
Hello, hello. Yes, I am all of the above. Tonight's Affleck trivia question: the last time a top 10 Notre Dame team came to Ann Arbor, 1991, it walked out a loser. However, I want to know which team has the most wins over a top 10 Irish team.
Was it Southern California?
USC.
I'm going to guess Southern California.
That's your Michigan State maybe could be on there.
That's right. They used to play very significant rivalry. Can Book get something going? It's getting urgent here. It's a sloppy night. This feels like a really big hole.
Well,
Jameer Smith takes the hand up and plows for 4.
You know, obviously these are not the conditions that you want to to get yourself into a hole like this, down 17, and especially not the defensive style that you want to get yourself into a big hole like this. They have to be very careful playing against Don Brown and what they're doing right now and the way they're attacking Ian Book in this running game especially. Notre Dame, when they run, they're dealing with a lot. Look at all these jerseys, blue jerseys, running to the football, and they're winning the battle at the line of scrimmage. I think Chip Long, the offensive coordinator, is going to put himself in a position where he cannot panic. It's a long game still. They just need to think they've got to find those one-on-one matchups with the tight end commit or Claypool when they have them. They've got to do something besides running the ball right now against this defensive front seven.
Trevor Rulin, grad student, has replaced Kramer. And the handoff to Smith running left, and he's chased down quickly by McGrone, who's just flying around tonight. Another third down coming up.
Yeah, watch him work off of the offensive lineman. Eichenberg, 74, gets up to him, and then he puts his left arm on him, but you cannot slow him down. He's coming downhill as fast as any linebacker I think we've seen this year. Again, not concerned at all about anything, and again, that's kind of their style. They like to play with their linebackers attacking that line of scrimmage.
Receivers stacked to the right. 3rd and 6. Book has a little time. He's being spied, and he's got nowhere to run. They were all over the quarterback. McGrone brings him down. It's 4th down.
But one of the things with Ian Book is if he comes off of his primary receiver, he has a tendency to bring his eyes down. Comes off, now he's looking to get out of there. That's exactly what Michigan wants. On 3rd down, they want him to pull it. And you have Dana there and also McGrone, who is spying. Just no room at all for Notre Dame there on 3rd down.
4 possessions, 4 punts for the Irish, 2 3-and-outs. And Michigan will get the football back and try to build the lead. Bramlett, pretty good punt. Peoples-Jones this time is not going to get adventurous. He will let it roll dead all the way.
Now to there, maybe a little intimidated by that pressure of Don Brown's defense.
Meanwhile, Patterson has had to do very little throwing of the football, just 1 completion tonight. That's Haskins with a 1st down carry. And the rain getting, as Maria said, even heavier. The conditions even tougher.
And Michigan, you know, why would they change what they've been doing? Doing a good job of controlling the line of scrimmage. 27 plays, 24 runs, and averaging close to 7 yards a run.
If you're Michigan, you're thinking anything other than a turnover. The last thing you want to do is to spark a stagnant Notre Dame offense. Patterson with a pump fake will take off and scamper around the edge. He'll be out of bounds just about 3 yards short of a 1st down.
Now, Shea Patterson hasn't had to do a lot tonight in the passing game, but doesn't he just feel like from up here he's just playing with some confidence? I mean, he just looks right now like a general in charge of this offense and making good decisions, protecting the football. And I really believe the way they battled back last week, I think created that confidence because it was the best game that he had all year.
Agreed. He's got to keep protecting the football, though.
Still a long way to go in this.
3rd and 3. From the pocket, Patterson throws it sideways. That had to be a backwards pass, and it bounces out of bounds at the 6. The decision making there was Jones pressured
There's no
right.
call for intentional grounding. The ball was thrown out of bounds backwards.
Yeah, it's a lateral. He threw it
4th
left.
down.
Yeah. The general that's in command, playing with Wisconsin, left-handed, up by 17, backwards towards his
I had a feeling. I just had a feeling he's had moments like this where you just shake your head with the ball security issues. I mean, that is the near disastrous play. And now a punt from the end zone. Wow.
I don't even know what to say.
Hart gets it away. Fink just lets it bounce. It spins dead at the 42. And Notre Dame will take over in plus territory, trying to cut into the lead. 6:20 before halftime. We guessed the Aflac trivia question answer as being Southern California. Maybe that's too easy.
I threw Michigan State as a wild card there.
I had a feeling that one of you two fine college football historians would answer tonight's Aflac trivia question. correctly there. It is indeed USC with 17. I needed a confidence booster for you guys.
I was going to say, almost seemed too obvious,
I've been coming so hard at you guys the last couple of weeks.
I
Felt
think,
that a giving, generous mood.
Bear, I think the last week in October, I think we got on the board.
Yeah, exactly. It's a big opportunity for Ian Book.
Book backpedals and underthrows Jones.
I think he held on.
Came back and got it. That was a nice catch by the running back for 5 yards.
I like the call here by Chip Long. What have they been doing with those backers? Blitzing them, blitzing them, blitzing them. Try to get the ball outside, away from those blitzing backers, because who do those backers account for in coverage? The running backs.
Terrific catch by Jones. Now he'll just muscle forward. The leg drive gets him to the 35. It'll be 3rd and 3.
It is tough sledding in that running game right now for Notre Dame. Michigan winning the line of scrimmage on both sides of the football in this first half so far.
But they test the middle here on 3rd and 3. Claypool is out to the right. Book still has the football. Look downfield, tries to find Claypool, and it's a couple flags come in, 4 of them. There are 4 pass interference flags on the play.
Yeah, but a great catch. Claypool goes up and makes the catch. Heck of an effort here. What the heck? Give it a try. Claypool with the size. Give it a try. The corner that time, Gray never sees the ball. That is a great effort. Throw it up. Give your guy a chance. He sees the ball. The corner, Gray, never does. And even though there's interference, it's a big gain there for the Irish. How
about Claypool? That second really difficult catch he's made tonight.
You got to keep working the outside, getting the ball to the big guy.
There are 2 fouls on the play, 1 on each team.
Notre Dame may have a line.
Receiver, downfield, number 74, offense. Pass interference, defense, number 35. Those fouls offset. Replay, 3rd down.
So Eichenberg was downfield early. You can understand why his Book was pump faking and taking time, but it negates that great catch.
And that's the challenge when you run the play. A lot of offenses have it where the quarterback has a chance to be. He's right over here. Gets downfield. When you have a quarterback, you give him the option to be able to run it or to be able to throw it. Those offensive linemen get caught. It's kind of a catch-22 where they're blocking downfield.
Jones, and he'll get nowhere near the first down. Hutchinson stopped him. It's 4th down.
How about Hutchinson? You look at him and you think about being a pass rusher in this defense. 6'6", 280 pounds. But watch 97 get off of the blocks, use his hands, work back down into the inside. Outstanding play by 97, Hutchinson.
Irish had good success on 4th down this season, 8 for 12. They need 4 to keep this drive alive.
You know they're not going to run the ball. Who's going to win here in man-to-man coverage?
Armstrong goes in motion, and they look for him, and it's broken up. Glasgow spotted it, got out there very quickly, and the Wolverines make another stand.
Well, they ended up moving Armstrong, hoping that the traffic by moving him out here would affect Glasgow because he has to work through a lot of different routes from the Notre Dame wide receivers, but instead he does a good job at navigating his way through. But that is a tough throw. Throwing it basically off your back foot. You can't get a good grip on the ball. You got 5 men protecting. Ball's got to get out fast. That's a tough ask there for Ian Book.
The Capital One line to gain. How about the performance so far by those Wolverine linebackers? Glasgow, McGrone, Kalik Hudson. They have been all over the place. Now the Wolverines, about 4.5 before halftime, back to work with Charbonnet.
So after the miscue, the mistake by Shea Patterson, Notre Dame really good field position and unable to come away with any points. Good job by the Michigan defense.
After a conversation between, no doubt, Harbaugh, as Des enjoys it down there, Gaddis and Patterson, I think we've probably seen the last left-handed pass of the night by the quarterback.
Hopefully for his career.
Charbonnet falls forward out to the 40-yard line.
That was
Des he doesn't like this weather any more than anybody else, but he's enjoying the scoreboard right now.
He grew up in Cleveland. He's used to a little rain, a little snow. What's up, Des?
He made the greatest play from the Michigan perspective in the history of this rivalry. We'll show it to you in a second. You might remember 1991, 4th and inches, Gerbach to Howard. Gary Moeller called a hitch, but a side adjust as Holtz changed the coverage at the snap, turned it into a fade, and Dez had to dive to make the play that sealed that victory in 1991 and launched his Heisman campaign. Wilson in the clear, first down out near midfield. I mean, this is right there above all the other plays for the Wolverine fans in the history of this series.
What a throw by Gerbach, and Dez lays out, holds on to the ball, and you're right. Coming out party for Desmond Howard on his way to a Heisman Trophy in 1991.
Right before it was snapped, Moeller was on the headset saying, "What am I doing? Should I be kicking a field goal here?" He second-guessed himself, and then Dez made him look
and then
great.
Magic happened.
Wilson hit, pinballed around, still running, spins again. It was an adventurous 1-yard gain.
So if you're talking with these coaches and you talked about what we need to do, regardless of the play call, you're playing in these kind of conditions, right? What would you say? Guys, I don't care if we call a run or a pass, we got to win the line of scrimmage. Michigan, this first half, we'll see how this first half ends. Offensively, they're winning the battle at the line of scrimmage. Defensively, they're winning the battle at the line of scrimmage.
Rushing yards, Kirk, 170 to 15. Mystery says in this rivalry, an edge that decisive produces the kind of score we've seen. Charbonnet keeps those legs churning, still churning to the 46.
Ruiz leading the way, the center. We've seen Uwenu, the right guard, being able to get out there and pick up some big blocks. And when they are able to hold the point of attack and then get up to the linebackers, good things are going to happen for this running game. They've been able to pull, work to the edges. Charbonnet's gotten good yards. Haskins gotten good yards. But it's been the offensive line that's really created that surge and that push up front.
See John Runyon, 75, talk to him. He said the worst game of his career was last year's game against Notre Dame and that pass rush. He watched the tape again and again and again with his teammates, just inspired by that. Boy, they have turned the tables tonight. Patterson trying to run for it, won't get there on 3rd and 5. It'll be 4th down. Gilman, who's back in the game, forced him out. Minute 13 before intermission. The Capital One halftime report with Kevin, Jonathan, and Mark. Scores and highlights show you the Oklahoma loss. LSU hanging on against Auburn.
Maria said that Gilman had his looks like his ankle taped over top of his shoes, so it's good to see that he's able to play. What just a tough-minded player.
Absolutely. The Hawaiian comes from a small town on the north shore of Oahu, but it's the Irish offense that's had problems in that second quarter, which has a minute and 8 to go as Fink makes the fair catch. Kirk, they've run 10 plays for 12 yards, have not made a first down. And you knew coming in it was going to be difficult conditions. We thought maybe Book might be better suited than Patterson to handle these conditions, but he hasn't had any help up front.
No, I mean, when you have an offensive line that's controlling things and allowing you to run the football, it makes it a lot easier. Notre Dame, the last 12 plays, I think it's like 13 yards total. So for them to change things, they're going to have to take some chances. And like that throw they made to Claypool, you know, he looked like he was covered, but Book trusted his player to make a play in one-on-one coverage, and he did. I don't recommend that maybe with a minute 07 deep in their own territory, but in the second half.
Book steps up and scrambles forward. Carlo Kemp knocked him down. Clock running. Notre Dame out of timeouts. Figures that they played a little safe here. It's a long way to go without a timeout.
Sure is.
And he's going to loft it for Claypool, who could not hold on this time. It was covered by Vincent Gray.
See, that's the matchup you just got to keep going back to. You just have to keep trusting him. If he's going to be one-on-one, you've got to trust that Claypool's going to make that play. And if you got to throw it to the back shoulder where he can adjust back and see the ball, and Gray seems to be struggling to get back to the ball, keep going there.
Would have been a tough one, but that is his first drop of the season.
Yeah, but I mean, running right now, and until they potentially make some adjustments, running is not an answer between the tackles.
Notre Dame will spend a timeout. Misread the graphic there. I thought that the black dots meant they had 0. Turns out they had 3, and they'll use one right there. I won't get it. It's only week 8. Tomorrow morning on Sunday NFL Countdown, Randy Moss sits down with Michigan man Tom Brady, talk about his future. Randy will rank the best catches from the college football games and how Bruce Lee turned Christian McCaffrey into an MVP contender. Sunday NFL Countdown tomorrow morning on ESPN at 10 o'clock Eastern Time. Just a sloppy, rainy night, and does not figure to change in the second half. If anything, the rain could come down even heavier. Wind is just whipping around inside the big house tonight. The home folks do not mind. They are singing and enjoying a dominant first half by the Wolverines. 3rd and 5. Pressure over the head of Claypool, or excuse me, coming back was Keys on the attempted screen. Now a flag comes in very late in the secondary, well after the play ended. Jan O'Neal to sort it out. Offensive pass interference, which I'm sure they'll decline.
Pass interference. Offense number 84. No penalties declined. 4th down.
So now Irish will have to execute a punt. And Brian Kelly will go in at halftime, try to figure out what his offense can do to execute against this aggressive, inspired defense in these tough conditions.
And Michigan's still trying to think about maybe getting some points here with 36 seconds left and 3 timeouts. See where the potential field position is here. Start this next drive.
Bramblett gets the punt away. It's a short one. Peoples-Jones lets it bounce, and this artificial turf beginning to get waterlogged. You could tell on that bounce didn't go anywhere, and Michigan will have 22 seconds to work with from the plus 46. And they do have the 3 timeouts. It's a 29-yard punt.
Like I said, with the 3 timeouts and 22 seconds, they haven't necessarily needed to throw the ball much tonight, with Patterson only 1 of 3.
It was a 1/3 down completion. Same were still to keep that drive alive, which eventually produced a touchdown run. Conversation already beginning on the sideline there. The offensive brain trust trying to figure out what is going to work in the final 30 minutes. Patterson scrambling around and fires on the sidelines, and the toe tap catch is made by Ronnie Bell, and the Wolverines fans give a supportive cheer for him.
Yeah, they should. Top receiver this year for him, and of course you talked about it in the opening about what he went through dropping that ball last week with a potential game-tying touchdown. Gets both his feet in for a nice completion there for about 9 yards.
Ronnie, they're chanting. Going to review whether or not Bell did get the foot down, make it a completion. 15 seconds. They have more timeouts than they're going to need, all 3 of them. In these conditions, nothing is guaranteed. We talked about Bell, as you said, he was a weapon, but on this 4th down play, the ball through his hands, off the chest and out, and that would have been a potential game-tying touchdown to force overtime. And he showed his teammates how much it means to him, how badly he wants it. He took responsibility. His dad, Aaron Maria, is a former college coach who was there to comfort him on the sidelines.
Yeah, you're right. And Aaron even tweeted out a letter that was emailed to Ronnie that basically told him that he should quit football, go play basketball. And it was from one of his peers, a classmate at Michigan. So how about this? An elementary school of 5th graders at Huntington Elementary in Ridgeview, which is basically 29 miles away, decided to write letters to Ronnie Bell to show him that he can be encouraged, and telling him that not to listen to haters and make sure that he knows that he's a great football player. Bethany Tomasek was the teacher who decided to make sure that this happened and encouraging Ronnie Bell, and she is a graduate of Michigan. So it's great to see a full story circle where some young kids in the community are lifting up Ronnie Bell after such a hateful email.
That's true, Maria. An ugly email turns into a teaching moment with fifth graders. The call was confirmed, by the way, so sets Michigan up on the 2nd and 1.
Love that story. Good job by Bethany taking advantage of that.
Absolutely. Wilson is the back. They've got to get the ball, I think, to be comfortable with the field goal attempt, another 15 yards or so. Wilson tries to bounce it. He's going to actually go backwards. They chew up about 10 more seconds, and we'll have to spend a timeout a little farther from field goal range now. It'll be 3rd down. Jake Moody tried a 58-yarder at Penn State. The regular long distance kicker, Quinn Nordine, is still ailing. He has an injury. Moody is pretty accurate from short distance, but this is not in his range yet. They're going to have to get a downfield play, use a timeout to give him a chance to add to the lead.
A little bit surprised on that last call with the conservative approach, running that football. Notre Dame just happened to be slanting, angling that defense the same way. They were able to push them back. Now with just 9 seconds left. I'm with you, Chris. They got to think they need at least 10 or maybe even 15 yards
I would
to
agree.
give a chance.
Yeah, to me, they got to get the ball to the 25. The wind is swirling. It's tough. They come after Patterson, who lost the ball. It's on the ground. A scrum now. The seconds ticking down. They stop it just short of halftime. It looked like Patterson was able to recover his own fumble, and that'll be the final play of a soggy first half that was completely dominated by Michigan's offensive line. They run for 166 yards. They hold Notre Dame to 52 total yards. It's been effectively guarded by Michigan and hasn't really been targeted by Book at all and hasn't made a catch. There's our Pacific Life game summary, and early on a key play because Notre Dame, after blocking the punt here, would have been set up in very good field position, and then Jonathan Jones, the backup linebacker, goes and touches it, makes it a live ball. Wolverines got the ball back, eventually drove down and scored.
I think it changed the outcome and the feel and the vibe, momentum of the football game, and Michigan, to their credit, took advantage of it. Charbonnet's been running the ball. Michigan, if you're just tuning in, dominated the line of scrimmage, both offensively and defensively, and in these conditions, it makes it very tough to be able to do much of anything else, and that's why Notre Dame is themselves down by 17 here.
Haskins and Charbonnet, the two top tailbacks, as Haskins spins for 4, combining for about 140 yards in the first half. Maria?
Well, Chris, last week it was Jim Harbaugh telling me that I was going to be Michigan's finest hour coming out of the locker room. This time I asked what he told his team, and he said every play means everything. That's the one message he wanted to convey in the locker room.
Yeah, I think that's right up there with who has it better than us? Nobody, right? He says that, said it to us yesterday.
Well,
every play is everything.
17-point lead, but he's well aware that the Wolverines have not put together 2 good halves in a football game often this season. Illinois was a terrible second half. They held on. Of course, the bad first half last week against Penn State. The hole was a little too deep to dig out of, as it turned out. So he is focused on, as he said, play by play, forget the scoreboard, keep grinding.
And if you're Brian Kelly, you talk to Clark Lee, the defensive coordinator, and you say, okay, guys, we got an entire half. First thing we're going to do is get them off the field. 3 plays and out. And now they've got Shea Patterson at 3rd and long. See what they do here.
Wolverines 3 of 8 on 3rd down. Patterson against a 5-man rush, delivers across the middle, and it's off the hands of Sanders Still, who has had 1 completion in the first half, and here comes the punt team.
Yeah, and you see the nickelback Sean Crawford, who's been out. He's missed a number of games. Comes back tonight. He's beaten right at the line of scrimmage, and Michigan gives Patterson time to throw. He's able to locate his man and makes a great throw. They're just unable to hold on to the ball, and Notre Dame gets exactly what they wanted, the 3 and out, and gets the ball back.
So Crawford with that brace on the left elbow, dislocated elbow, is a tricky injury. He's back from it, but still braced up. And that punt bouncing around, you don't want to touch it, as we've seen tonight. It will roll dead at the 32, and Ian Book has just had a tough night start to finish.
Yeah, he sure has. He's 4 of 13 for just 32 yards, and a lot of that has to do with the offensive line not doing a very good job of taking care of him. They've had some miscues with a snap hit a tight end. Here he just unable to get anything on it when he had Claypool behind the defense downfield. His feet just not quite in alignment. That was a tough throw there on 3rd down. So it's just been one of those halves. And we're going to see what Chip Long and Brian Kelly come up with here to try to get him into some kind of rhythm.
3 first downs for the Irish. 1 came via penalty. Looking to throw on 1st down. Book has plenty of time and then runs out of time. It's a coverage sack for a 2-yard loss.
Well, you talked about Komet. Where is he? Watch him. Watch the big fella break away from coverage. And if he's ready to throw right now, puts it out here, he's got a chance to be able to make that throw and pick up yards. He can't get any more open than that. Throw it.
You played the position. Is he just kind of frozen mentally right now?
I think Don Brown's doing a really good job of confusing him, which he told us yesterday was a big part of the plan, showing him a lot of different looks.
Well, they bring some pressure. It's dumped off and dropped underneath by Tommy Tremble, the tight end. And the execution, blocking, throwing, catching for the Irish tonight has just been a mighty struggle.
Yeah, and at that time, Ian Book does a good job of getting it, checking it down. They drop back in zone, so it's open underneath. And it's not huge yards, but if they're able to hold on to the football there with Tremble, they're at least in maybe a 3rd and 6, 3rd and 5. Now it's 3rd and 12.
Claypool to the right of the formation. And they're looking in that direction. Just throw it up to the big fella. When in doubt, there were 2 men in coverage. Lavert Hill batted it away, and it's a 3 and out.
You had Hill in really good position at 5'11", going up against Claypool. We just talked about coming back from halftime, how you got to take some chances and trust Claypool to go up and make a play. But I don't think the ball is thrown where Claypool has much of a chance. Give Lavert Hill a lot of credit for putting himself right in position to be able to go up, use that vertical, and knock the ball away.
So on 1st down, Book doesn't see the open tight end. We get a drop from Tremble on 2nd down. And that 3rd down play. And now a high punt. Peoples-Jones says get away from it, let it bounce. And it will roll dead inside the 15. Charbonnet is the back. He's got it again. He plows forward. Get a chance to have 2 Wolverine tailbacks over 100 yards tonight if they keep doing this.
If they keep getting that push up front by that offensive line. And, you know, they've had a lot of success tonight holding Ruiz, the center, and one of the guards, depending on the direction that they're going. And it's not, you know, it's not 50-yard gains, but it's 4 and 6 and 8 and 4. It's just consistent.
From the pocket, Patterson bumping into folks, trying to escape. A pump fake. It is a whistle. There's a whistle. Stop the play.
I think his knee went down when he started to scramble. He was in the pocket. You know, he's elusive, tough to be able to bring down, but his right knee looked like as he started to get out of there, it looked like it went down right there. Yep.
Good spot. Probably a good thing for him because he looked like he was ready to make a bad decision.
By the way, that's the exact same spot on the field where he threw that left-handed lateral. After I said he was a field general. He's the captain. Sir, yes, sir.
3rd and 14. From the end zone, Patterson launches across the middle. Almost intercepted. Gilman had a chance. It was over the head. Peoples-Jones, who's still down on the field. Actually, it's Bell who's getting up limping, and here comes the Wolverines punt team.
But the ball goes up and over Ronnie Bell, and you can see Gilman close to getting his hands underneath, just goes right through his hands and hits the turf.
So why are you throwing that ball across the middle on 3rd and long on 17?
Yeah, that's exactly what Notre Dame needed, was try to get a turnover. It's great field position.
Now Fink didn't catch it, and that's going to cost the Irish about 15 yards in field position as it rolls dead at the 41-yard line. And they're looking at the right knee of Ronnie Bell. Another reminder, the Dolphins and the Steelers, AFC matchup on Monday Night Football. Countdown begins at 6 Eastern time on ESPN. Then the football game at 8, also on ESPN Deportes and the app. The Dolphins in the Tua Derby.
Remember Michigan last week, down 21-7 at the half at State College. Now up 17. It's Notre Dame in catch-up mode. And by the way, the rain at this point is pretty much stopped.
Book rolls back, pedals, and delivers in the traffic. Caroms in the air and almost intercepted. Metellus was there to break it up.
Well, Metellus should have had a pick here. He baited Ian Book, and I think Ian Book really telegraphed this throw. Watch him stare down his receiver. Right here, Metellus is saying, throw it, I dare you. He's going to step in front and just unable to get one more step in front, and he comes up with that interception.
Armstrong around the edge, knocked down. Metellus has played well tonight. He was the guy who was disqualified for targeting very early. Last year's loss in South Bend, so eager to redeem himself against the Irish and playing well tonight.
The quarterback of that secondary.
Guy had a tough evening in Happy Valley as KJ Hamler abused him in that matchup. Irish needs 8 here.
Another third down and long.
Haven't had a first down since the 4-minute mark of the first quarter. Claypool's to the right. Book is looking the other direction and now scrambling, trying to survive, backpedaling, and flips it incomplete. Just bounced it to Armstrong. Incredibly discombobulated passing game.
Yeah, and
a lot of the defense gets credit for it.
Absolutely, and look at the twist. Eventually, there's nobody open downfield. Hutchinson trying to chase him down, Quiddy Pay, but give the coverage downfield all the credit, because within the confines of that offensive structure, there's nothing there for Ian Book on third down. Everybody covered downfield. He's just trying to keep that play alive.
Book 4 for 17, 32 yards. Jones will make the catch from the 9 and try to make something of it. 6-yard return to about the 16-yard line. 10-0.
Hey, listen,
those would be Eminem lyrics, so just FYI.
I got you.
Okay,
Look that up. Listen, as bad as things are, you have 52 yards of offense. The game's not over. I mean, you're down 17.
Haskins.
It feels like they're down 80, but they're down 17.
Irish defense did their job the first possession, but once again, offense could get nothing going.
Gotta believe that Michigan will just keep working the clock, running the football.
As you pointed out, the weather has taken a turn for the better here. This was against the forecast. It was supposed to continue throughout the second half. Instead, it looks like the rain has just about stopped. Continues to be chilly and windy. 2nd and 10. Haskins bumps into traffic and then breaks a tackle, and then is absolutely driven back strongly by Owusu Koromoa. Third down coming up.
Owusu Koromoa is a really good athlete. Has emerged this year, and with Sean Crawford down the last few games, is not only playing linebacker, but they put him out there in that nickel spot over that inside receiver, but known for his ability to close like that right there with the speed.
Irish with the FBS best +10 in turnover margin. 14 takeaways this season. They have not yet been able to create one. Haskins will be knocked down short of the first down. So once again, Notre Dame's defense does the job. Kyle Hamilton on the tackle.
Yeah, Kyle Hamilton, the highly touted true freshman who's had a great first year in South Penn. 6'4", 210 pounds, and has great closing speed himself. How quickly he got in there and got Haskins off track, and that's what kept Michigan short of that first down.
So 3 consecutive 3-and-outs for the Wolverines offense. And Hart takes the boot away, and Fink makes the fair catch at the 44. First down play from Notre Dame as Book is once again scrambling and could not fake out Glasgow, who's played well tonight. Oklahoma and Nebraska are going to have a home and home in 21-22, but some of these other rivalries, it's kind of a shame, and we put this on that list, even though they announced they're going to play in 2033. But if the sport had some central control, it'd be bad for business to have these games
I think
not played.
Leadership of the universities need to do their best to keep these rivalries alive.
Book Trying to keep the play alive. It was almost picked off as Lavert Hill came in and jumped it. And it's 3rd and 10.
I think Lavert Hill's having a fun night so far tonight. Just playing great in coverage and almost baiting Ian Book. Another one where he's like, throw it. And then he steps right in front. Almost comes up with that interception. Eyes on the football. Knowing exactly when he needs to be able to make a play in coverage. And what do you know? Ian Book's in another 3rd down and long.
Book 1 for his last 12. Are they going to squander this good field position? Downfield throw for Komet, and it's intercepted. A flag comes in late. Hawkins has the football as they try to force it into double coverage. We'll check the penalty marker.
Pass interference. Defense number 7. 15 yards to the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Hudson gets in there 7, but I really got to disagree with this one. I know Tom Brown does. Chris, I just didn't see a lot of contact here. Kind of a bracket coverage, inside and outside. I mean,
oh no!
Put his hand on him? He put his hand on him. I don't see anything there.
It negates what would have been Hawkins' first interception of the season. Gives Notre Dame a first down to the 42. Well, that play proved fateful. Crowd, what's left of it, really booing. Armstrong knocked down after a yard gain. You know, the Harbaugh and Don Brown were pretty incredulous about some of the calls, and last week's loss against Penn State, they won't like that. The crowd is still booing.
But this guy right here takes calls like that personally. And it's the defensive coordinator, Don Brown, one of the best in the country, and he gets his team and his defense to take it personally. See if they ramp up even more intensity.
It was just the 4th first down for Notre Dame, the 2nd via penalty. Claypool's to the left this time. Wolverines bring pressure. Book is flushed, escapes, and dives down. That's really his best scramble of the night. He's near the marker at the 32.
One of the reasons he had some room is McGrone actually gets out of there. And he follows Komet to tight end, so he's got a little bit of room to try to get away. A little easier getting away from Glasgow than it is from Cameron McGrone.
Longest run of the night for Notre Dame, that 9-yard first down scramble. Now Book for Claypool, jump ball, catch made inside the 10. The big fella up and over Ambry Thomas.
And that's what they've got to do. Take the shots when they get single high safety, meaning man-to-man on the outside. Take the shots. How about the fingertips holding on to that football and getting a foot down by Claypool?
24-yard gain.
Why not go right back to him at the bottom? He's one-on-one again. Has that size advantage.
Book in heavy traffic, ducks down and picks up a couple. The crowd cannot forget that pass interference call, and you can't blame them as the Irish threaten to finally crack the scoreboard.
You know, again, a 17-point game with little under 6 minutes to go in this game. Notre Dame is not in this 3rd quarter. Notre Dame is not out of this game at all. Now they move Claypool to the field where he's got a little bit more room to work up here.
Working against Hill. Book looks back and has Komet wide open for a touchdown. And they are hurling those towels right into that corner of the end zone, all over the Notre Dame offense, which gathers in celebration.
Great call there.
Komet involved was the pass interference, the controversial one that kept the drive going, and Notre Dame finally finds their NFL-ready tight end.
Really good call there by Brian Kelly and Chip Long. Gets a ultra-aggressive defense. They flow with all the action going to the right, and they forgot, Michigan's defense forgets to pick up the tight end Komet on just a delay.
4th touchdown for the junior from Illinois. Door the conversion. This is the pass interference play that we both disagree with that set up the touchdown.
Yeah, this one's not even really questionable. I mean, Notre Dame, let's face it, they caught a break. By the way, that's 3rd down and 10, where they catch a break and get the pass interference. Then they created a little bit of momentum. They get the ball down inside that 10-yard line. And then the momentum, what I found interesting here is watch all the action going this way. Kmet's right here. He's going to kind of work his way back, but everybody's going this way, including the Michigan defense. And Kmet just kind of waits, and then nobody picks him up. An easy throw for Ian Book.
Never, ever, ever lose sight of number 84. Notre Dame has the football.
Now, he does
Too good to ignore.
Did a nice job of selling it, being patient. That's the key there for the tight end on a delay, not getting out of there too quickly. Just kind of wait. He takes a towel right to the helmet.
At least it's only a towel.
Yeah.
I've seen worse thrown on the field. Giles Jackson is now deep for the Wolverines. Sudden little urgency as this Michigan offense has gone stagnant. Jackson from the 3. Slammed down at the 24. They pass out these towels in these night games here, and the student said, I don't want my towel anymore. I'm going to protest the yellow flag that was thrown on the field with my yellow towel.
Over half the students have left, so I don't know. They may want to. Notre Dame gets another score. They may want to call them up and bring them back. But those that are remaining, yeah, they let the towels fly. Interesting possession here for the Michigan offense. As you said, Chris, they've really not had an opportunity to do much of anything here in the second half. A little bit more of a conservative, even more conservative and predictable approach. And Notre Dame's made some adjustments and played better against that run game.
Patterson looking to throw on 1st down, a dart across the middle, and it's complete. Nico Collins on across the 35.
Yeah, this is where Shea Patterson's at his best. Gets back, looks off to the right. Now he's got that nice passing lane right over the middle. When he gets back, puts his foot in the ground, comes up throwing. That's where he's in that rhythm, and that's where he's very decisive and dangerous.
And a whistle before the snap.
The previous play was a completed catch. Before the snap, replay stopped the game.
So they'll take a look and see if Collins came up with this catch, and now further protests and more towels being thrown by the students into that end zone.
Well, he bobbled it just slightly when he started to go down, but I thought he got his elbows underneath the ball. See the little bobble there? Tough to see. Looks like he has his hands under the ball.
This will provide a better look. And you can see the ball trying to knock it out of his hands. Bring in Dave Kataya for his first rep tonight. It looked to me like possibly he lost control just before the nose of the ball hit the ground. Dave, how do you see this replay?
Well, the key is on that second replay, the ball can move slightly, but look at this.
That one shows it, doesn't it?
That one shows it. This is, to me, is incomplete.
Pretty good effort, by the way, by Dante Vaughn, 8, who did not give up on that play.
I think him reaching in there had an impact on Collins' control of the ball.
The first hand getting in there caused the ball to come out. The second ball, or the second hand came in and I think knocked the ball loose.
Coach Harbaugh pleading with the fans who were throwing the towels to knock it off. If they take this completion off the board, it'll be 2nd and 10. That was a first down throw. Interesting, with the offense kind of stagnant lately, they chose to shot on first down.
Came out different, completely different approach.
The key is that he has to have control of the ball. You can see the bottom of the ball on the ground with the 2 hands on top of it.
One more look, Dave. Ball will hit the ground with the nose right there.
Yeah. Right there, no question about it. He loses control when that ball hits the ground.
Tom Kissinger is the replay official for this Big Ten crew. I had a conversation with Tom. He said he saw that controversial replay review in the Big 12 game, the Kansas State Oklahoma game.
It was an incomplete pass. It'll be 2nd and 10 at the 25-yard line. Please adjust the game clock to 5 minutes, 17 seconds. Second down, the clock will start on the snap.
What?
The Big 12 crew, I thought did a great job in overturning that. And he said, no, I would have let it stand. It was his rule, his ruling on that. Haskins, burst free, breaking tackles into Notre Dame territory, and they'll finally run him down near the 25. Stagnant no more is the Michigan offense.
Again, let's watch the Notre Dame linebackers. What happens to the backers? Here he gets kind of caught up in the traffic, but they're not there to be able to make the plays. A good block by the tight end. Looks like the defensive back, Dante Vaughn, comes at a bad angle, and Haskins showing that upper body strength again, pushing that safety off.
49-yard gain now. Patterson for the end zone. Incomplete. And now a flag comes in against Notre Dame. Troy Pride was covering Collins. And a sarcastic cheer from the Michigan fans.
Pass interference. Defense number 5. 15 yards from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Man, how things have changed with the big run and the penalty now.
Yeah, I like how Josh Gaddis and Jim Harbaugh decided to come back attacking after Notre Dame got their first touchdown of the night, pulled the lead within 10. There's an obvious jersey pull right there by Pride, and Michigan in business now, close to the 10-yard line.
Keeper and Patterson spun down for a loss. Osmar Bilal fought off the block and just closed off the edge on him, huh?
Yeah, nowhere to go that time for Patterson. Almost looked like Notre Dame anticipating that he would keep the football. He had 2 different defenders out there.
Took a swing in his head.
Yeah. I think the crowd reacted to that.
Lucky he didn't make contact. 3-yard loss. Patterson on second down gives it to Haskins. And get back near the original line of scrimmage. Third down coming up.
Keep talking about the linebackers. Where are they to make plays against the run? Bilal that time made the play. He was actually blitzing. Did a good job of getting off of the block there by Owenu and just kept fighting to get in the run support there and makes a heck of a play.
See if Patterson tries to throw for it here. Just 2 completions tonight for Shea. 2 for 7. Irish bring an all-out blitz. Patterson for the end zone. Peoples-Jones couldn't come up with it. And a flag is down in the end zone. Crawford in coverage, claiming it was a push-off by the Michigan receiver. It'll be against Notre Dame.
On Crawford.
Pass interference. Defense number 20. The foul occurred in the end zone. By rule, the ball will be placed at the 2-yard line. First down.
Another look.
There's contact both ways. That's pretty similar to the one earlier.
Kind of a touch.
Yeah, I don't really see. I don't see that as being a heavy push either way. I think both guys kind of made contact with one another.
It was enough to knock Peoples-Jones off balance and maybe sell the call. So the ball at the 2, first down. Pass interference call suddenly becoming the dominant factor in this game. Patterson with another keeper and another loss. Jordan Heath, the backup linebacker, was out there quickly.
How about that? He's right up here, doesn't hesitate, able to get away from the potential block of Eric All. Just sold out, just anticipated, hey, he's going to keep it out of this look. Quarterback's going to keep the football. Guessed right, in position for a big loss.
They've asked Patterson to keep the football more in those zone reads.
Well, if it's the right read.
Yeah.
You want to give it, but it's
He's not been successful with the keeps tonight. On a 2nd and goal, back at the 8. as he throws for the end zone. Sliding catch. It's Peoples-Jones. Touchdown, Michigan. Just got it off before being hammered on the blind side. And a terrific catch by Peoples-Jones. Let's make sure he did maintain control.
I can't believe he got the ball out. He got hit right as he threw it. Peoples-Jones gets his hands under and makes that catch for a touchdown.
Tremendous effort by the receiver. And you're right, that ball got out a fraction before he got hammered.
Yeah, Notre Dame brought in all-out blitz, put their defensive backs one-on-one. Bill Law came so close to getting to Shea Patterson. Watch all these linebackers. Bill Law ends up getting in clean right there. I mean, he hits him. You can see the ball. The ball was affected by the contact by Bill Law. Watch, gets in there right there. I can't believe Shea Patterson had enough to get it out there to Donovan Peoples-Jones.
And a tremendous catch by Peoples-Jones. Patterson's third completion all night. A 75-yard drive that was certainly aided by a pair of pass interference calls on Notre Dame. And Michigan has rebuilt a 17-point lead. 2.5 to play in the third quarter.
That's one of those when the offense as a group goes back and watches and they see the hit that Shea Patterson took and the fact that he stood in there and got the ball off. That's how you gain respect from your team right there. Looks like the rain is back.
And you're right. Swirling around. That was massive for Michigan. They had struggled offensively since building that 17-0 lead. The ground game is being slowed down by Notre Dame.
For Oklahoma, I don't know if anybody thought they'd lose that game to the Cats.
Jalen Hurts almost 400 yards passing in the loss. The defense was the problem today. Book, halftime, launches for Claypool, and he could not come up with it. He was running free. It was just over his hands.
I thought it went right through his hands. You know, Ian Book, who's been struggling to get a chance to make throws downfield, I think this time he's got protection. He makes the throw, and man, Claypool, you would think he'd make that catch. That ball went right through his hands.
He came up a little bit gimpy and is on the sidelines after that. Seems to be okay. Could have been the play Notre Dame needed to try to answer Michigan's touchdown. Book flushed and just fires into the bench. Third down coming up.
They're doing a really good job of mixing up the looks. They have all game. Don Brown has shown man. He's shown bracket coverage where you have two defenders on the top receivers. They've sat back and played zone. They've twisted that defensive line. They've blitzed linebackers. They've showed blitz. They've dropped all these different looks, impacting not just the offensive line, but without question, Ian Book.
Kmet and Claypool set off to the right, and it'll be even a more difficult third down. A false start will make it 3rd and 15. There's Robert Hainsey, one of the Irish captains. Armstrong, they set him out wide that time to the right, and on that screen they pick up about 4, but it'll be the punt team. So the momentum was pretty short-lived for Notre Dame. The penalty-aided touchdown drive, the catch by Kmet, but then Michigan just marches right back. Irish go 3 and out. And there's a flag. The Wolverines got eager, and it's a false start. Actually, they were drawn off. Starting to get a little chippy down there. He's pointing at each other. It's been a frustrating night for Gilman.
Sure has. And Brian Kelly.
Asked him yesterday, get a birthday wish. That's easy. The team return home with a victory, but wish unlikely to be granted at this point, barring a very dramatic fourth quarter comeback. One just bounces sideways. And we'll be down at the 41-yard line. Tomorrow morning over on ESPN, Sunday NFL Countdown. Talked about the sit down with Tom Brady and Randy Moss. All the updates, injury info, what you need before kickoff. 10 a.m. Eastern time over on ESPN.
You know, with Oklahoma losing, everybody's wondering what that might mean eventually as we get into November with the college football playoffs, and Notre Dame potentially having a big opportunity tonight. You see them sitting at 8 in the AP poll, and right now down 24-7. Got to wonder right now if they have much of a chance to come back, and you might have Brian Kelly and the Irish thinking about what could have been.
That last drive, big 49-yard burst. Haskins straight up the middle, set it up.
Then you have the pass interference, grabbing a jersey there by Troy Pride, and set up this touchdown. Patterson sitting in that pocket, waiting for the last split second to get the ball out to man-to-man coverage, and Peoples-Jones scores to put him up 17.
Final minute of the third quarter. Charbonnet is back in there on 2nd and 9.
Michigan calling a timeout.
Looks a little disorganized pre-snap there. Harbaugh very concerned about his team, you know, maintaining their focus, maintaining the intensity at halftime. When he told Maria up 17-0, they concede the touchdown, but had to feel great about that last drive, reestablishing the running game. Finally, the passing game producing a nice play and a touchdown. Talked about the loss by Oklahoma. Penn State was very impressive. They handled the rain very well.
Not just the rain, the emotions.
Yep.
You know, you have a big week last week against Michigan, the whiteout. On the road, a little tricky game against Michigan State off a bye. They take care of business. Florida has the week off, and right there, Notre Dame sitting with one loss right where they want to be, with a big stage and a big-time opponent in Michigan, and right now they have squandered that opportunity.
Clemson continues to roll. Northwestern Mutual bringing you the rankings. If I had a vote, and I'm glad I don't anymore, I'd make Ohio State #1. Another complete performance. You can question their schedule, and as people do, but incredibly dominant against Wisconsin today.
I've said that really for the last 3 or 4 weeks has to do with how complete of a team and how consistent they've been in offense, defense, and special teams every game that they've played up to this point.
David Pollock's been saying on game day, is a growing chorus who really feel like Chase Young is the best player in the sport right now.
Yeah, you're the Heisman expert here. You know, a lot of times, I mean, a defensive guy to just get to New York City is almost a win. But Chase Young is, without a doubt, every week showing that he's one of
here on 3rd and 8. Wilson is the back. Patterson looking to throw for it, far side, and it's incomplete. So 4th down. This is the 9th night game in this series. Coincidence or not, Kirk, but the home team has won the previous 8. Barring a comeback here, the Irish will drop to 0-3 in night games in the Big House. Fink back deep for Notre Dame. Irish come after the punt, but Hart gets it away, and Fink waits for a fair catch and then lets it bounce over his head and into the end zone. To Kevin Negandhi for an update.
Wow. about that?
So USC, which escaped Boulder with a comeback victory, in control of the Pac-12 South, but a big game against the Ducks of Oregon next Saturday in the Coliseum.
USC has faced all kinds of adversity this year through injuries and playing a lot of freshmen, but winning some big games.
ASU came into that game ranked. Smith knocked down by Glasgow's at a terrific ball game behind the line of scrimmage.
And USC, because they beat Utah right now, as you said, they control things. Utah is playing as well as anybody out west, but they need SC to stumble, and they need to keep winning to get a chance to get into the Pac-12 championship.
Well, Oregon, you'd like their chances, though, in the Coliseum.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
2nd and 11. Claypool's to the left. Book is looking that direction, but fires instead outside to Smith out of the backfield. Embry Thomas knocked him down quickly. It'll set up 3rd and 5.
You know, when you call this play, you're kind of hoping to catch Michigan in man-to-man, where you get your back to slide out, and you're hoping that a linebacker is going to run with him. Michigan, instead, they show the man-to-man, and then they drop back to zone, and you got Embry Thomas sitting out there covering that flat area, just sitting there ready to make a play.
It's so windy that the football just blew away. Patterson took his hand off the ball, and the wind just took it. It's emergency here for Notre Dame, down by 17, needing 5 to keep the drive going. Armstrong as the back. Claypool to the left. Michigan crowds the line and brings just 4. Book runs for his life. Fires sideline, incomplete. Javon McKinley went down low, could not come up with it. 4th down.
Good pressure again on Book. Book has had a rough night when it comes to this pressure that he's had to deal with. Always seems to be on the move, and that was very close to the sideline there.
It's 4th down, and the offense is on the field. So Kelly going all in on this play. And Michigan will spend a defensive timeout to talk about it. They reviewed the previous play.
After further review, the ruling on the field of an incomplete pass stands. 4th down.
McKinley, did he control the ball before landing out of bounds? This is one of the better looks from the.
We showed the replay. I said, boy, it looks really close. I thought they might take a look. Michigan ends up calling a timeout to give the officials upstairs some time to take a few different looks, and they reviewed it while we were gone and decided he did not have possession of the football.
In the meantime, Kelly has chosen to send out the punt team and not risk going for it in 4th and 5 deep in his own end. Bramlett gets the boot away, and Peoples-Jones just lets it roll dead at the 36. Notre Dame has the Hokies next, they're a bye, and then on the ACC network, they'll visit Duke on November 9th. Navy is the opponent in November. Navy will be the opponent in the Week 0 opening game of the 2020 season in Dublin. And game day, and our crew will be there. Stanford is the finale. Brian Kelly lamenting that every year they have to make that long West Coast trip late in the season, either against Stanford or USC.
What tonight means is those debates in late November and early December about is Notre Dame deserving of being in the top 4 have been eliminated after tonight's loss to Michigan. If Michigan ends up holding on to win here.
Haskins, who had 217 yards coming into tonight through the first 7 games, has 139 tonight on 19 carries, more than 7 per carry. Fans here have been eager to see him get more involved. The guy who came here as a running back was switched to defense and then moved from linebacker back to running back because this position group was a real question mark before this season. Chris Evans suspended for the year for Michigan. They had no experience coming back. Haskins said, I'll go back to offense and I'll tote the rock to midfield for another 1st down. It was a Pacific Life game summary looking at the tandem. Charbonnet, we talked about the talented freshman who had been the starter for the first 6 games. He's got 74 tonight, but it's been Haskins with the bigger runs.
Yeah, and what also needs to be noted is the offensive line has helped both these guys. I mean, Notre Dame has known that Michigan's running, and they still can't stop them. It's a nice tandem with Charbonnet, the true freshman, and Haskins. It's a nice 1-2 punch. It's kind of body blow type of approach.
Patterson, he play action on first down and zips it wide open. Sanistril makes a move, and he's become involved tonight. The freshman from Massachusetts with a big play as Michigan is threatening again.
He gets lost in coverage here. Part of Notre Dame's defense playing man-to-man. The other part playing zone. I think it might have been Jalen Elliott, 21, right here. Watch him. Looks like he's in man-to-man, then he just kind of lets him go. Meanwhile, everybody else seems to be covering a guy, and Michigan dials it up at the right time, gets a receiver free.
34-yard gain. Wolverines figure to go back to trying to grind it out here. Nope, Patterson pump faking. Why not throw to the end zone? Collins. Touchdown! And Michigan begins to pour it on to the Irish. Celebration down in the student section corner.
Lee Corso made a comment this morning on College Game Day about Michigan finding their team in the second half against Penn State. They found some confidence. They found a belief, even though they came up short. And man, they sure have played that way tonight. Complementary football, both sides of the ball involved, offense and defense. It's an impressive performance. Say whatever you want. Notre Dame's been playing good football, and Michigan taking it to them tonight.
And finally, the passing game gets going. I thought they might grind it everywhere. 31-7.
You know, this is a big week coming into tonight after Michigan lost last week. You know, they already had the loss here. They lose here. And Notre Dame, and look what they still had left. Michigan State, at Indiana, and Ohio State. You lose to Notre Dame, and you have 3 losses, and you still have those games remaining. You know, I think this was a huge week, not just for Jim Harbaugh, but for the 2019 Michigan Wolverine football team. And they answered the bell after a disappointing loss a week ago against Penn State.
The next home game will be against Michigan State, and Ian Book will be having the book closed on his night. Bill Jerkovich in a quarterback, and he fares no better. Welcome to the football game. Welcome to Michigan's defense and Mr. McGrone.
Yeah, he's looking at this defense from the sideline, and now all of a sudden he has to come out here and deal with the speed in which it executes. And Don Brown, he didn't hesitate. He didn't ease him into the game. He brings a blitz just to wake him up and introduce him to the Wolverines defense.
2nd and 22. And he'll be dragged down right near the line of scrimmage by McGrone again. No mercy on the backup quarterback at all.
No, not at all. Brian Kelly frustrated. We've got about 10 minutes to go in this game. Notre Dame has 92 yards of offense. 19 yards rushing.
It's always been a very different defense in the big house. And flag is down. Jerkovich's going to scramble out near the 25, way short of the marker. Glasgow wrestle him down, and this will be a holding call, which they will undoubtedly decline. Well, that change of quarterback did not work out for the Irish.
One of those nights. Brian Kelly, when he talked to Maria at halftime, and she asked him, you know, what happened in the first half, he said,
holding.
They're out playing us.
72.
What do you want me to tell
10
you?
yards from the previous spot. Repeat 3rd down.
Wow. So Michigan doesn't want to take the punt here. They're going to back the Irish up, make them replay 3rd down. That's interesting.
Right there in the middle of the screen, Aiden Hutchinson, who's had a really good game tonight. Played against his dad. His dad was a great player here at Michigan as well.
There's a very unconventional decision here. I guess they're having so much fun on defense. Yeah. Just go get the quarterback.
Let's try to get a safety.
I mean, it's 3rd and 28 now.
Or a pick 6. Turn him loose.
You know, it's a scramble. It's not really going to matter as he's knocked down at the 15.
I thought that ball came out.
I mean, that's a sign that you're confident in your pass rush. You know, we don't want the punt just yet. Go out there and lose some more yards, maybe.
That's right. Woody Pay right here trying to punch that ball out. Oh,
almost did.
Almost came out. Maybe that's why they declined the penalty. Or took the penalty, rather.
Yeah. Ramblett right at his goal line. Goes down and gets the low snap. And Peoples-Jones is going to retreat and now come back to the near sidelines and finally just scoot out of bounds.
Have a chance to get to a Big 12 championship and potentially still be in there and with one loss.
Patterson looking to add to the lead. It's a first down throw downfield. Peoples-Jones, a sliding catch at the 26. There'll be no throttling back for the Wolverines.
No, and I think Jim Harbaugh is sending a message to his team. It's not about just being up 31-7. They're playing for the rest of the year. They're still growing and developing as an offense. They've had some tough games for this offense early in the year, picking up momentum as they get into this second half of the season. Why let up?
Wilson busts a tackle into the secondary, has some blockers, cuts it back and scores. And Michigan is mauling Notre Dame, and the quarterback even got involved with a block downfield.
I was waiting to talk about that.
Wasn't a great block.
Hey, man, it's the effort that counts. He's down there. He threw a shoulder into a defender. A good run there. You know, we don't get a chance to talk much about True Wilson because of the way Charbonnet and Haskins have really come on. But we talked to Jim Harbaugh yesterday about those two backs, and he was quick to say, you know, we feel good about all four guys, Christian Turner and True Wilson. Wilson gets a chance here to show what he can do.
27-yard touchdown run for the senior, Michigan native. Michigan. There was that one moment when the Irish cut the lead to 17-7. They just stepped on the gas and pulled away.
Can you let me know who my representatives are? Because other than my wife, I don't know who you're talking about.
Smith with the game. Well, the report said that his agent was pursuing NFL offers to get out of Michigan, and that was the fact that obviously is wrong that he seized on. You know, that kind of stuff goes on all the time in the hard knock world of negative recruiting. He chose this week to sort of make a.
I don't blame him. I thought it was a good move, and I like how he had the letter made out to the parents, not to whom it may concern or whoever it might be. Dear media, he sent it to the parents.
Smith getting some carries late in this game. Gains first down yardage.
You know, we got 8 minutes to go in this game, and I think all week we were excited to have a chance to come into the big house, Notre Dame and Michigan. I'm just absolutely floored, not just by Michigan's performance, by the lack thereof of Notre Dame. Notre Dame, complete no-show. This has been a team that's competed and played well most of this year. You know, they had a chance to win in Athens, beat USC at home. And this is the performance that they put on this stage. They didn't show up.
Yeah, the adverse conditions, Ian Book really struggled from the start. 8 of 25. As you pointed out, he had some open receivers that he didn't spot. The execution up front wasn't very good.
It's not Ian Book, it's across the board. Embarrassing performance by Notre Dame.
It just barely cracked 100 yards total offense by moving the ball on this drive. Avery Davis, the young guy in at running back, and he is knocked down short of the marker.
Don Brown's defense still just playing for every 6 inches, every yard, just push them back. I mean, they're not letting up. He's trying to get him back under 100 yards.
You know, Brian Kelly certainly didn't see this coming. This kind of no-show.
I don't think anybody did.
As you called it.
It's a no-show.
Davis again moves the sticks.
You can see you're seeing a few substitutions, but for the most part, still that starting Michigan defense. Cannot tell you how much Cameron McGrone is impressing everybody. The way he's emerged in these last 5 games with Josh Ross down. He's really solidified the middle of this defense.
Good looking to throw, slings it across the middle, incomplete. And let's go to Kevin Negandhi for an update.
Oh.
That's an ouch for Tulsa, but it'll make it interesting. Next week we'll have that game in prime time for you here on ABC. Undefeated SMU once beaten Memphis on the Tigers' home field.
Loose ball.
And the ball's out. It just fell out of the hand of Djukovic as he tries to throw the ball. It's a scrum, and finally the Wolverines do come up with it.
Yeah, the freshman, Hill.
Daxton Hill fell on it. The lane knocked the ball loose. Another look as the scramble by the backup quarterback.
I can't tell if the ball just came out of his hands or did Kwity Paye knock it out. It looks like maybe his own hand knocked that loose. Kwity Paye was. Oh, I'm sorry, it wasn't Kwity Paye. It's Delane actually gets in.
I think he pump faked. He tried to
hold on to
it. Left hand on the ball to hold on to it. Then it came out. So that negates sort of the forward motion of the hand because he tried to.
Yeah, he tried to grab a hold of the ball and it just came loose.
And they fought for it. They kicked it. They wrestled with it.
Well, it started to come out of his hand, Dave, as his arm was coming forward. It looked like he started to lose control at the tail end there.
Well, the question is, if his hand is moving or arm's moving forward and he has control of the ball, to me, he's tucking it there.
Okay.
To me, this is a fumble.
Because he was attempting to regain control, and it wasn't an attempted pass motion.
It looks to me that his forward motion, it's close, but it looks to me that his forward motion has stopped and the ball comes out.
Chance for John O'Neill to once again get together with Tom Kissinger, the replay official. Sophomore from Pittsburgh, given a chance in a route here to come in and establish something, show what he can do, but it's been frustrating.
To me, his forward motion has stopped. He's bringing the ball back in. The other hand comes on it and he loses it.
Yeah, I don't think he was trying to throw the ball. He was obviously trying to regain control.
That's my opinion as well, Chris.
So
plus it's 38-7.
Yeah,
I was going to inquire about the arena clock here, so I don't think we need to.
On a chilly night here,
yeah,
you don't need another lengthy review.
No, I don't think we need to do that. Mercy rule's just about to be called.
Ruling on the field as the Michigan will take over at the 45-yard line.
After further review, the ruling on the field of fumble recovered by the defense stands. First down.
As Dave said, and then was the thinking in the replay booth, he was trying to regain control of the ball, not pass it. So it is a fumble.
Here's the question of the night for me. Does Jimmy Harbaugh continue to air it out now that Dylan McCaffrey comes into the game for Shea Patterson? Or you think he's thinking about working that clock, or still just go ahead and throwing that ball down the field?
First of all, it's good to see McCaffrey back. He was knocked in the head, a concussion suffered against Wisconsin. He actually went back to Colorado for a couple games and come back. He has been available but hasn't played in 2 other games. So Dylan will get mop-up duty here.
Yeah, talented young man who can run and obviously can throw from the pocket, can get on the edge and throw.
He came in down 14 last year's loss to Notre Dame and tried to run around and make plays and spark things. Wasn't able to.
Go.
And he will sling it there, and there's a completion for a first down. You can see the zip that he's got in his arm.
Yeah, no question about it. I think he has such command now, this offense. That's the reason that they wanted early in the year to give him as many reps as they could. Early, he and Shea Patterson kind of, Shea was clearly the guy, but Dylan McCaffrey would get his opportunities to show what he could do. That big hit that he took in Madison set him back.
It was just the 12th attempted pass of the season. Giles Jackson made the catch. A lot of young Wolverine receivers in the game at the moment. Wilson, he's still running hard, trying to make most of his chances. You know, Shea Patterson really hasn't been about the passing game. He was able to get this ball out. Peoples-Jones made a nice diving catch. That was a crucial play in the third quarter. A couple of completions late in the game. Same was still, and you saw a very satisfied smile on Patterson's face. A year ago, he was scrambling, trying to make a play, down 7 against the Irish. Here's a block, he's downfield, and the ball was knocked out of his hands, and he felt, badly about that play. So even though it's not gaudy stats tonight, he's got to be overjoyed with the W.
No, again, I go back to that second half against Penn State, and I think it could be a real starting point for Michigan in the second half of the season. Wow, look at this.
And now Sam Ristel breaks free, and McCaffrey is going to get his first touchdown pass of the season in relief. And the Wolverine fans are enjoying this increasingly lopsided primetime beatdown of Notre Dame. They're going to have bragging rights until 2033 based on this one.
My question at the beginning of this drive, again, I think Jim Harbaugh is sending a message to his team. It's not just about this game against Notre Dame. They're still attacking. They're still attacking on defense, still attacking on offense. They are gaining more and more confidence by the possessions.
Troy Pride, corner, is down. Another look at the touchdown.
You talked about the zip on this ball. Linebackers come up. Nice quick pass where it looked like Pride came up, and because of the velocity on that ball, didn't have a chance to make a play on it. He's sitting there. It looks like he's about to come up, but just hesitated enough for McCaffrey to get that throw in.
Sam Ristel's first career touchdown. He had just 1 catch on the season coming in, has 3 tonight. And Patterson jumping up and down, enjoying the play made by his backup and some of the young receivers on this Michigan team. 44-7. His Pride is helped off.
Man, that tells you about the chemistry on this football team when you see, oh, look at that effort right there, all the way out of bounds. Although he's taking him to the stands. I mean, that's whew.
I know what you're saying. It's about what lies ahead and making a save. But I think it's got a little bit to do with the opponent. A little bit to do with the opponent. The sustained intensity here.
Yeah, but I think it has as much to do with the disappointment of last week and maybe the opponent, but the disappointment of last week. And as he says, every play, every rep counts. It's Jim Harbaugh. I mean, he has a reputation of those chilly handshakes because of some decisions he makes at the end of games. He did it at Stanford with the 49ers. He's done it at Michigan. He's just going to coach all the way to the end.
Is Brian Kelly going to ask him, hey, what's your deal tonight?
As Pete Carroll did. Pete Carroll on him. Jim Schwartz almost had it out with him too in the NFL.
It's a 21-point fourth quarter for Michigan, and a very satisfied Jim Harbaugh. Many around the country, in the playoff era, if you got 2 losses, if you're not relevant for the playoff, your season's over. Forget about it. Now Michigan refused to roll over. Ford wrap-up show after the game. Kevin in for Cassidy Hubbard, who had some travel issues. The inclement weather getting in today. He'll update you on what's going on. Carlo Kemp and company. This is just a party now. And we'll see where the Wolverines go from here. They've got 2 rivals that are even bigger than Notre Dame coming up. The always feisty affair against the Spartans, who are struggling big time on offense. How they're going to score in this Michigan defense, I got no idea. No. Then, of course, the daunting Ohio State team will come into the Big House November the 30th with very likely an East Division title, a playoff bid perhaps on the line for Ryan Day's team. And we'll see what Michigan's got on that day.
Yeah, Ohio State plays Penn State in Columbus the week before, and then the very next week they will come up to Ann Arbor.
That's a good point, because that's a new wrinkle in the rivalry. A 1-2 punch for the Buckeyes, having to play a very tough game the week before the biggest game. And there's a pitch downfield, and coming back to get it is McKinley, and he's run out in Michigan territory. Later tonight over on ESPN, after the Wazoo-Oregon game, SportsCenter with Stan Verrett and Ducks grad Neil Everett. They'll have World Series Game 4 post-game coverage from D.C. Astros trying to level the series at 2. Reactions from this beat down in the Big House, and Heather Dinnick's going to reveal how Oregon or Utah can make it to the playoff. There's another downfield throw and catch inside the 35-yard line. They get Komet involved, but very late. There is a flag down. They rough the passer.
Defense number 91. 15 yards from the end of the run. Automatic first down.
Lots of backups in the game at this point, so you tack on 15 to the end as they sling Jerkovich to the ground. Kind of a soft call. It's Taylor Upshaw guilty of it. Not much of a rough, but it does draw the flag. Don Brown with the headset off, still actively coaching over there. Irish in the red zone here. Vic lost it, and the touchdown by McKinley. So some backup Notre Dame players get in the game and cut into the lead in the final 4 minutes.
I thought McKinley might have a chance to make some plays because of the man-to-man coverage. Just up against Vincent Gray, gets off the line of scrimmage cleanly and gets able to get behind coverage. That's a good route. Ball is underthrown, but he adjusts back well. You know, Claypool gets most of the attention. Fink, you have Lawrence Keys, even Brayton Lindsay has come on, but they really feel that McKinley, with his size and speed, could be a very good receiver. Just needs more opportunities.
Guys had some off the field issues. They feel finally kind of growing up, maturing, finding his way, and they expect him to make some impact plays in the stretch run of the season.
He had a cocky swagger about him as a player when he was at Michigan. That was back in the days where the visiting quarterback could take the home crowd out of the game if he would turn to the head official and say, hey, I can't hear, my lineman can't hear, and he would kind of turn to the ref. The ref would give the home crowd 2 or 3 warnings, and then finally they would call a penalty. He was the king at drawing that penalty.
Thankfully, it's no longer an option for a quarterback. Join Chris Perman and Tom Jackson for NFL Prime Time this Sunday, 7:30 Eastern on ESPN Plus. All the highlights as only they can deliver it. Good to see TJ back off the IR. Go to ESPN Plus, download the app, ESPNplus.com. You know, Harbaugh, before he played Notre Dame the first time in his career, 85, Bo had threatened that week to bench him. He had played poorly in a scrimmage. It was the season opening game, and he was going to shake things up, threatened to bench his quarterback, and it was just a bluff. Harbaugh went out there and played, and they won the game. But he's happy above playing mind games with his quarterback.
He's happy for Dylan McCaffrey coming back, throwing a touchdown pass. Now they turn it over to another talented quarterback.
A sophomore from Florida. Milton gets his turn to engineer a drive, and they hand off to Christian Turner. He's a talented back too. You mentioned he's part of a 4-back rotation. Rarely gets a chance. It's been all about Haskins tonight, Kirk. 20 rushes for 149. Charbonnet's had 74 yards on the ground and a couple of touchdowns. Drew Wilson has a touchdown as well.
Yeah, Christian Turner, a good-looking back out of Bedford, Georgia. Joe Milton is a big quarterback. 6'5", 245 pounds.
Pahokee, Florida is his hometown. Milton and McCaffrey figure to battle it out for the starting job next year when Patterson is gone. Turner again brings it back, flashes the speed, and will be wrestled down out near midfield. These backups for the Wolverines enjoying opportunities to shine on this big stage.
Everybody getting in on the act.
So what do you make? The tremendous fight shown by the Wolverines against a, as you said, no-show Notre Dame team. What does it mean for the Wolverines second half of the season?
I think they put their foot in the ground, and they're going in obviously a great direction, not just tonight, but the way they battled after being down big on the road in that environment. I think they gained some confidence. They played that way tonight. Makes the games that they have remaining incredibly interesting. And for Notre Dame, you know, they're going to be favored to win the rest of their games, but this is a devastating loss, an embarrassing loss that they'll have to bounce back from.
Yeah, it's funny because, visiting with Brian Kelly and the coaches as we did, you just didn't get the idea that anybody saw this coming. And obviously the forecast really affected the game plan on both sides. Michigan adapted pretty well to it. Notre Dame just did not. You're right, it was puzzling really on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, and I know we had weather. We had some tough conditions with the wind and the rain. But Michigan had to play in those conditions too. And Michigan at the line of scrimmage, they controlled things. At the early part, they were able to build a nice lead, and they never looked back. But this will be one that Notre Dame will look back at and be very, very frustrated with collectively with their effort, coaching and the way they played.
Turner again carries the football. And the clock ticking down, final 90 seconds.
Michigan over 300 yards rushing now on the night.
Take a look at your top four.
Yeah, I've had Ohio State at #1 for the last 3 or 4 weeks. Most complete team. I moved Alabama back up at 2 over LSU. You can make a strong case for LSU when the committee comes out because who they've beaten up at 1. And then you have Clemson there sitting at #4.
Clemson just seems to have no challengers whatsoever in the ACC. Massive favorite in all their games. They got a road game in NC State coming up. A couple of weeks they got the ACC championship game, and who in the world is the Coastal going to throw out there?
No idea.
Against Clemson. And of course Alabama with Tua expected to be back from that high ankle sprain, hosting LSU on November the 9th. Wolverines asking for the remaining fans to stand and show them some love, and they are complying. A virtual toss-up at kickoff, and Michigan just manhandles the Fighting Irish. This rivalry not scheduled to renew again until 2033. So a whole bunch of years of bragging rights for Michigan off this performance tonight. And Notre Dame will have to regroup for a stretch run in which they'll be favored in all of their games. Don Brown, he has a real affection for the quarterback, the defensive coordinator. He was walking Patterson off the field after that tough loss at Penn State a week ago.
Ball starts. Yeah. Offense number 72. 5-yard penalty. Still first down. That foul comes with a 10-second runoff, which Notre Dame has accepted. 10 seconds will run off the game clock, and the clock will start on the ready for play.
So total yards, Kirk, 437 to 180, and about 80 of those yards for Notre Dame came well after this thing was decided. A head scratcher for the visitors from South Bend, and a dominant performance on both sides from the maize and blue. Quick handshake, and Harbaugh will head to the locker room.
It's going to
be satisfied man. It'll be a different vibe than a week ago.
Very proud of his team and what they were able to do tonight.
And Maria has Shea Patterson.
All right, Shea, you just said that feels so good. So describe what is so great about this one.
It was just amazing. Couldn't be more proud of our defense and just our team collectively. You know, we played together as a group tonight, and got a little bit of revenge from last year, so it was fun.
Was that one of the points coming into this game that you guys spoke about, wanting to be able to make a statement against Notre Dame?
I think it was just more so having a little bit of sour taste last year, losing that one last year and then coming out here with a chip on our shoulder, and tough loss last week, but we're just moving forward.
What did you guys learn in that loss? Because it seems like your offense has been working effectively since that comeback at Penn State, even though you fell short.
Just to come out firing from the jump. You can't turn it on in the second half. You got to play from start to finish your best game. So, that was our emphasis this week.
All right, thanks for your time, Shea.
Thank you.
Well, some of the Michigan players have sprinted down to the corner where the students are to sing. Kind of a mini Lambeau leap being done by some Wolverine players, Kirk.
Yeah, they go into that corner after their big wins, and the students usually help celebrate wins like this. It's a big night for the Michigan football team, and really sets up the rest of their season with some big games still on the horizon. Some good games.
They've got the Spartans and, of course, the Buckeyes still to come, but they take care of their old rival here tonight, 45-14.